eBay CB radio find. Another Midland CB radio, but which one?
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Paul, Mike 0 Whiskey November uniform, or 26 Charlie Tango 730 if you catch me on 11 metres and PMR 446. Now I've just finished filming part of the video, use the screwdriver, for this Midland 38. You'll have probably seen the video for that already, so you'll already know by this point how it's performing on air versus something else, and the fact this got a dodgy potentiometer volume control on it, which I'll need to sort out at some point, as it's a non-standard part. So I bought, well, we shall say, another Midland radio, and this one is actually one I've never seen before. So I've got a safety blade, so I'm going to start opening. Actually, I'm cut the address label off, so there's a hole in the package, so I don't actually need the safety blade. So this one is the Midland Deluxe Ready Rescue 779145. Now, I've never seen this before at all. And this is one of these emergency kits that you can basically pop in your car, put the aerial on the roof and call for help. Although, to be honest, on CB these days, calling for help ain't going to get you anywhere. Because, you know, this is quite hard to get into, apparently. So, the seller says everything should be here. And it appears to be the case. And it also says the battery pack might need reworking, so that's something I've got to bear in mind. So what we've got here is a radio. This has an antenna connection on it, identical, I believe, to the one on my Realistic TRC 1007, although I don't think it's out of the same factory. Check that is actually screen printed on the case. It is, so this is a 2781 radio, manufactured July 1991. Distributed by Kerno, made in Korea. So this dates from 1991. So the oldest radio I have that I've got off eBay is in fact my TRC 1007. So came with this, interestingly enough. This is a antenna that screws on in here. It's a telescopic. So screw that in there. It's got a loading coil here, so this must have come off an American set, because I'm pretty sure that wasn't allowed on 2781. So this is obviously extra. And judging by the state of it, it's centre loaded by the looks of it. So that's the, careful there, that's the antenna. Bring it past the camera. Not sure how that's looking on focus because I can't actually see the screen. It is a telescopic antenna, so I'll telescope that back down. Centre loaded, interestingly. There's a helical antenna in here, which I'd more expect for 2781, which also fits in there, just like that. So you've got a little walkie-talkie here, and I'll just do that. So it comes with a battery pack, which I'm going to have to investigate this because the seller said that this battery pack doesn't actually work. So I'll have to open it up and have a nosy inside. I'll figure out how to do that later. Guess actually. Is this the same as, right, how do you open that? Looks like you can open it, but I don't know if you can. It says open there, so I'm not sure what that's all about. There's this here as well, which takes this cover off the bottom. So I'll come to that in a moment. So the battery terminal's there. I do have a multimeter to hand, but I can't get to it right now. But I'm guessing the cells have failed in here. So I'm guessing it's NiCads in there, so I'm going to have to figure out how I can get that open so I can repair the batteries. So I'll come to that later. They come with this Midland branded mag mount with, on the other end of it, this type of connector. So I could potentially plug that into my Realistic TRC 1007 and it should theoretically work. Not that I'd want to. So I can't actually test it on my main base station aerial because I don't have the right adapter. I can get one of those from Knights, or I think Thunderpole do them as well, but I'd have to double check. And it also comes with your 12 volt cigarette lighter plug type connection. So I'm thinking this is 12 volts, not 13.8. So I might have to drop the voltage slightly to accommodate that. I'm guessing what you do to make it work like that is you push this tab that says open, and then I'm guessing this cover on the bottom slides off. There we go. And under here is your battery contact, so you put your battery on there. So to power this from the mains, you'd need a power supply in your house. I've got a 13.8 volt power supply. I don't want to run 13.8 volts through this to switch it on and see if it actually does anything. I'm just going to be careful and put 12 volts through it, because I have a sneaky suspicion this is 12 volt DC. It says so on the top, because this would be used like that for breakdown situations. So I have a sneaky suspicion that's what we're looking at. So I'm going to power this up on my bench supply when I turn it down to 12 volts. So in order to help me do that, I will need to adjust it with a multimeter, which I can't actually reach right now. And I won't disconnect my FT991A from the power supply, because that should be fine at 12 volts. So I've just got to measure the voltage. So got powered up the supply. Let's check I've still got audio there. Right, supply is now on. Put the red probe across the red to make sure this is in volts. It is actually in volts. It needs to be on 20 volts. Black into the black. I'm not actually getting anything out of that. So I'm wondering if my probes aren't connected to the supply properly. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to drop that down to 12 volts though. This does actually have a voltmeter on it, so back it off. Back it off a bit until it's at 12 volts. It's a bit snappy, that. 12.4. I'm getting 12.3 across those terminals. 12.2. Sitting at about 12.09. So I'm happy with that, because obviously don't want to plug this across 13.8 volts. It says it's 40 channels on 2781. Let's see. Well, it's come on channel 9 by default, which I kind of would expect this to do. So I'm going to screw that in there, so I've got a load on it. So this has obviously been tested. Turn it off and on like that. It's got an S meter, so that's a good start. So let's try that on channel 20. I've got a monitor receiver in the form of my Intec H520 Plus. So I'm just going to turn the squelch up out of the way so it doesn't keep breaking through. So channel 20, is it receiving? Whoa, definitely. Turn that down a bit. Ooh, try that again. Ooh, something sounds very similar there. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's working. Is it transmitting though? That's the question. Oh, possibly. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. A bit quiet on the old audio there, but it is working. It's making noise very similar to my realistic. So I think it's quite similar audio circuitry in there. So, right, I know that's working. It will work as a walkie-talkie, because that's how it's meant to work as well, not just as an emergency CB radio. But, you know, this is actually pretty good. So I'm just going to unplug the power cable, and I'm going to turn my power supply back up to 13.8 volts. So my power supply is now back up to 13.8 volts. I'm not plugging this back into it. So that battery pack, I have no idea if A, you can actually get into that, and B, if it's possible to renew the cells, because apparently according to the seller, the cells are well, not great. So there's a connector in the side, which I'm guessing is a 12 volt, so that same 12 volt thing, but I don't actually know. Because I've never come across one of these before. This is the first time I've ever seen this radio. So I'm trying not to wander off shot too much. So let's see. What voltage do we actually have across the cells? Now at the moment I've got it on the 2 volt setting, because I'm not expecting much. Because the seller said this wasn't holding a charge. So I'm guessing the cells are cream crackered, as we shall say. I'm getting... oh, this ain't good. 600 millivolts, according to that. And dropping rapidly, so... the cells in this are kaput. But that's not a major issue. I'm going to try and find out if there is a way to get into that. Doesn't look obvious. I don't want to break it. I'm sure I can replace this battery pack and resell it. And I say resell as in put new cells in it, not sell the radio one, because I don't want to sell the radio because I actually kind of like it. And, you know, this is actually not a bad little thing. So, can't obviously test it in walkie-talkie mode until I can get in this cell housing and replace the batteries. So I'm just going to have to work on that one, because that's showing a very low cell voltage, and I think those cells are finished, and it will probably be NiCads, so I'd have to probably replace it with nickel metal hydrides because it's the closest thing, and it'll just slide on the bottom there when it's working. So that's actually pretty good, and it actually does say on the back that it is compliant with MPT 1320, so that's actually pretty good. So this is the Midland Deluxe Ready Rescue 779145 from 1991. Not one I've ever seen before. I don't think Richard at UK FMCB Radio Servicing's come across one of these either. But I could be wrong. But I have checked his videos and I haven't seen this. But it does seem to be not too bad. And it does power up and work. And there's no obvious way inside their car. So there's 3 screws in the back. And that's how you get in. And this mag mount, which I'm pretty certain still has a working magnet. Yeah, that works. So yeah, this will be worth giving a try out, as the only way I can try it out is, well, my car, when the ignition's off, will drop to about 12 volts, which would then be safe to run it. And that's got the usual high-low power switch, channel 9, LEDs on and off to save your batteries, squelch, which has local distance on it, so down there would be basically, that just tightens it up. I'm not sure how good it is. Bar graph, like S-meter type thing. It says that light should be S9. S30. The one thing I didn't check to see was for harmonics. I haven't done that. I did that on the Midland 38 and that was clean, so that's going on the air after I've finished filming this. So, this is the Midland Deluxe Ready Rescue. I may have mentioned that. And I may have mentioned it was made in July 1991, and I have also mentioned the battery pack needs work to fix it. So that probably just needs some new cells in it. So maybe I can get that working, maybe not, who knows. So I'll get this on the air. It'll probably be on its mag mount in my car, because that's the best I'm going to be able to do at the moment. And we'll try both these antennas with it just to see how that fares. That'd be a very interesting thing. So I'll catch you in a wee while. I've got the microphone disconnected from this at the moment, so the audio might be a bit low, but this is a quick update. I've got the battery box open. Here we go. There's some corrosion in there, unfortunately. And there's 2 dummy cells as well. So I've got the screwdriver in my hand, and inside this battery box, I found these. These are Tesco Long Life cells with an old Tesco logo on them. And that already says how long they've been in there for, and a bit fluffy on the bottom. I found a date on these, expiry date, November 1996. So they are scrap, and they've pretty much not completely rotted the contacts away, I don't think, but I've got no method to test this. It's got 2 dummy cells which I can pinch to put into the realistic as well if this pack can't be salvaged immediately, but I'm sure I can just clean up all the corrosion that's in there. So that's a work in progress. So there we go. I've got into the pack, found it was full of is it chloride cells? I'm guessing that's what those are. And yeah, that's not nice. So yeah, I can actually get this working. I just have to go to Poundland and get some of the proper Kodak Extra Life alkalines and see if we can get it working as a walkie-talkie. So I will probably be able to do that test. So, you know, that's a turn for the books. Depends on how badly these contacts are corroded. So I'll catch you further in the video. Right, an update on the Deluxe Ready Rescue. The PTT stopped working, so I've had to open the radio up and investigate. So inside here, the PTT is a small tactile switch down there. I'll have to bring that in and focus on it. Oh, that doesn't focus, try again. There we go. That's in there, that's the PTT switch, and I think that's completely shorted to ground. But what that's done is, by powering the radio, bring that up a bit so you can see it, it has blown up this transistor here. So that's not good. So that means this radio doesn't work at the moment and it needs repair. So to test the mag mount, I'm going to recover the cells from this, which I've tested. So I'll bring the cells in so you can see them. They're Kodak cells that I got from Poundland, plus these two dummy batteries that came with this. So they're coming out as well. Let's put that back down there. And I can test the radio on its mag mount. I can't test it as a handheld until I can find out why the hell it went bang. This is going to be a big job. So, if I can't find out why it went bang, then yeah. But it's no great loss because I still got a mag mount and a power lead and a couple of antennas with it. So, yeah, I'll put them in the realistic because this was definitely not the problem, because when it went bang it was connected to the power supply, which I'd turned right down to 12 volts to make sure that I didn't kill the radio in its entirety, because it's a 12 volt radio, not a 13.8 volt radio like this Midland 38, which you'll know how well it's working by the time you watch this. So I'm going to sort out swapping these batteries over to the realistic, and that'll give it a fresh set of cells to work on, and then I can run the tests I want to do with the mag mount. And yeah, a bit of a shame, but old equipment, it will start to fail, although this is actually newer than the realistic, so I don't get it. But, you know, it happens. It depends on how well it's been treated and what kind of life it's had. So I'll catch up in that part of the video. Right, so I'm at my usual place, and I've just tested the SWR on a mag mount after putting it on the roof with the telescopic, and the news isn't good. It's connected to the realistic, TRC 1007. I'm going to have to be very careful then. I key up on channel 40. This is 400 milliwatts, and it's already starting to go quite high, so that's not ideal. That's 400 milliwatts. Oh no, that's actually the full power setting. I can't even calibrate the meter out. So yeah, the telescopic doesn't seem to work as intended. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if it works better with that rubber duck in there, which I'm highly doubting. So I'll pause whilst I do that. Right, I swapped over to the other one. It didn't work. Same result reading as I was getting on the telescopic. So I'm going to have a look at that mag mount, see if it's shorted somewhere, which it probably is. So, because it's showing a very high SWR, and that's not a good thing. Especially for the transistors in some of these radios, because they're not easy to replace. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that mag mount off the roof, and I'm going to end this video with some audio from the realistic, because it's otherwise a very similar radio inside. I think it uses the same synthesizer and audio ICs. I'm not 100% certain because I've not had a proper look, but you know, because I've now got the facility to actually connect it to an external antenna now, so that'll be fun. And also see how sensitive it is on channel 19. So this has turned into a bit on the realistic here, actually. Yeah, I'll add that in as a separate video, actually, the sensitivity of the realistic, but you know, and whether it works on this antenna. So unfortunately, a bit of a fail from the Midland Ready Rescue. Bit of a shame, but you know, it happens. So It's Paul, Mike 0, Whiskey November, Uniform 126 Charlie Tango 730. If you catch me on 11 metres in PMR 446. So, yeah, just call me the Red Squirrel on the CB, and I'll just hope to get that ready rescue repaired, and hopefully for this mag mount as well, because it's a shame it didn't work when I tested it with the realistic. So, 7-3 for now, and I'll catch you in the next one.